Greetings and welcome to Dodge and Die presents the Grimstone Chronicles Season 4, Episode 20. 420. I am your DM and host, Marty, joined by two-thirds of the Ontario crew. We've got Mark and Ahmed. Adam, I think, has a bad flu or cold and said he might make it, so we might have a sick Adam pop up like Snuffleupagus or... How's it going, Mark?
Pretty good.
Yep. Did you watch last game?
I did watch last game.
Yeah,
yes.
and did we do Barnabus justice last day?
You did pretty damn good.
Okay. We had to channel the Barnabus.
The right level of cynicism and bitterness towards everything in life.
But know it all.
But know it all, yes.
Yeah, he's a fun PC to kind of crawl into and play. Yep. I don't know why. I think it's that bitiness. I think it's that like irreverence for things, but he still tries. It's like this weird balancing act for that character.
Yes.
I think Ahmed's a chair. All right. What have you been up to, Mark?
Not much. Just had to work last weekend. Just working. I've been playing. I've been still playing Wrath of the Righteous. They break the game. Marty told me about this because I've never been a huge fan of mounts on tabletop. I've had a few animal companions. I know that, but still.
Yep.
But on Wrath of the Righteous, you can ride your mount, and this is what I ended up doing is I made a character. It was a halfling mad dog barbarian with 4 levels of fighter to help with feats and heavy armor proficiency, because if you're riding a mount, who cares how fast you walk?
Right. I've got a paladin that like that too. It's like, oh no, he has to walk there 20-foot moves.
Exactly. That and Wrath of the Righteous has mithril armor all over the place. So so 2-weapon fighting and a velociraptor mount for the halfling, and it's just this series of red numbers, and then the enemy explodes when you charge because the velociraptor has pounce as well. So yeah, but it's also got the racer template, so it's like anywhere if you're in the fight, I can get to you in 1 round. And then
like
there's 6 attacks.
100-foot move speed or something like that.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. And the halfling has weapon finesse, or sorry, mythic weapon finesse, so adds dex to damage. So the fact that they're small means nothing.
It just means it's easier to hit the places that are soft.
I guess so. Yeah,
because you're that much bigger. Yeah.
Anyway, I've been having fun with that.
Is that a merc or your main?
That's a merc.
Okay.
I'm sticking with my main. The one I'm going to do that and throw that character in other ones too. Except I think when I throw it in my evil campaign, it'll be a human with the tiger.
Yeah, I've basically made He-Man on his battle cat a couple of times.
Yeah, maybe with a couple bastard swords and just.
Yeah, so pen and paper, these rules set, if your mount moves more than 5 feet, you only get 1 melee attack around, but they seem to have made it so that your mount can double move in the game, and you still get your full attack at the end of it.
Yep.
So compare that to the fighter that's still back there trying to move 30 towards the enemy. It's like the mounted fighter wins.
Every time.
Yep.
Yep. Oh, and Owlcat Games, don't change that. That does. Loving it.
Hey guys, I'm really sorry about that.
That's all right, Ahmed. We were just geeking out about Wrath of the Righteous. That's cool.
Great game.
I recreated a party and we got past Dresden, and I'm now doing like the first few dungeons going around Dresden. I just hunted the dragon.
Okay, yeah.
Oh, we weren't quite at the. We're running around tired, and the dragon ambushes us, and the initiative didn't go well.
Oh no!
It's like I couldn't put up the protection against fire.
Fire, no!
170 damage to everyone. It's like, oh god. We're gonna go back to our last save point. Dragon. And I'm playing on unfair too, where like the enemies do extra damage, and my guys couldn't hit the dragon. I'm like, oh shit. Only the big fighter who's maxed out his strength and is raging and has got his mutagen and like only that guy can hit the dragon. The rest of them are like, no, we're fishing for 20s.
Oh, it sucks.
So I gotta get the dragon first. I almost couldn't. Anyways, it was pretty fun. So yeah, I've been enjoying the new group. Of course, with the mod, I can add a 7th and 8th guy to the group, which
I can see.
Which helps out a lot. And then you gestalt them just because we've been playing Pathfinder with gestalt for years now. It's hard to imagine characters without it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'm remembering though.
Yeah, I've got my Paladin Cavalier who's on a mount. I've got this wacky combination of Student of War, int instead of dex. Monk scaled fist 2, so he's got his charisma to his charisma to dex. Barbarian instinctual warrior 2. If you toggle the alignment, you can go barbarian. He's got wisdom to dex. Paladin 2. He's got his charisma to saves, and then he's going to go all the way up, and then 12 levels of sword saint over 20 levels, which means int, I think, to dex. Or sorry, I think it's your int. I think it's your int to your AC. And then vivisectionist for gestalt.
Yeah.
And it's There's a weapon in the game. I haven't found it. It's apparently later, that allows you to apply your intelligence to hit and damage with the weapon.
Oh,
so this guy's got like a Ray's rockin', like when he's all buff, like a +10 int mod. So he's the guy right now that can't hit. But when he does, we've got Cyrax, who's like my dragon. He's a his 20th level build will be Blood Rager Primalist 10, because I want him to get the Claw Pounce attacks. Monk Scaled Fist 2, Vivisectionist 8, and then Gestalt Overwhelming Mage Sorcerer 10 with 10 levels of Arcane Trickster. I took Sorcerer because you can get extra bloodlines. He's a red dragon who's also a gold dragon bloodline, who's also a brass dragon bloodline. So that's +3 damage to every die that he rolls for a fire spell. Plus he's got sneak attack on top of that. Oh, his Scorching Rays are just so vicious. We've got Wendell, who is a Monk Zen Archer 8, Paladin Divine Hunter 2, Rowdy Rogue 10, and Gestalt War Priest Cult Leader. So he'll be a archer with a full sneak attack, like, because Cult War Priest gives you
disgusting.
Some sneak attack, and then the rogue will give me the rest of it. And with I think you might get the what's that feat where it gives you the extra.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
But Cult Leader or War Priest gives you that increased damage die for your bow.
That's right.
So
then you put gravity bow on it.
Lee Hida, one of Mark's characters from a long time ago. He's a Sohei 12, Barbarian Mad Dog 4, Fighter 4, Alchemist, Vivisectionist is Gestalt, and he fights with throwing axes. So he by the end of his build, he's gonna throw like 9 throwing axes a turn. Two weapon fighting with throwing axes. It just gets ridiculous. He's also a guy right now that can't hit. Because you're like, oh, I want deadly aim. Oh, I want rapid shot. I want it. Oh, no. +12 isn't doing it. Then we've got Vorex, who will be a Bard Flame Dancer 17, because fireballs through bards. Pretty cool. He also took Student of War 2 and Monk Scaled Fist 1, and he's a witch. So he's my buff and debuff guy. Yeah. Occasionally with a hit on a bow. Atlas is my big fighter. He's the Blood Rager Abyssal Celestial Bloodline 5, Vivisectionist 15 on the front end, and then Gestalt 2-handed fighter 15, Barbarian Armored Hulk on the back end. Gozar is the last one I added. I'm like, I want to try Kineticist again. So Monk Scaled Fist 2, Vivisectionist 18, and then Gestalt Kineticist 20.
Yeah,
So,
I want to try kineticist on
Yeah.
it as well.
Yeah.
Only because I'm like, they actually have items for kineticist in this game. Like, fuck.
Yep. Anyways, lots of fun. So that's the party that I think I'm going to try to bring to the end. Bunch of killers, things explode. But a few of them are like, I have to be careful with, putting all the feats that give you the minuses.
Yeah.
Because they're having a hard time hitting enemies on unfair, like the tough
Well,
enemies.
you're on unfair too. So.
The Dragon's AC was like 52.
Oh.
So, I was having a hard time hitting it.
Yeah.
I'm like, next time we go in, Divine Favors running, Good Hope, Bard Song.
Mutagens are on the go.
Mutagens are on, everyone's raging. It's like, yeah! Gotcha! It was still a rough fight. There was a demon in chapter 4. It's like, why am I having a hard time? Look at the stats. It's like the AC was in the 80s. The fight's just you're mining for 20s.
Doesn't matter if you got buffs up.
Yeah.
You still need 20s.
Yep. More attacks, the better. Ahmed, how's it going with you?
It's not. No, it's good. It's good. Been busy with a lot of just work and extracurricular activities with the kids' school and stuff.
Yep.
Like meetings.
I saw that
Friday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
I saw that you dropped into the Titans gift game last night. Handing out mythic points or hero points like they were candy.
Candy. What's up? Well, I mean that's the only place I could spend them, right? I'm like, because there might be a flip in the polarity of those points next time. just to make it even, right?
That's so mean.
Well, let's be fair.
Artie, what could I do for 8 villain points?
What bad thing can happen? Oh, funny. Adam is sick and listening while curled up into a feverish state. Roger Dodger. All right, cool. Why don't we do a recap of what happened last game? Lots of stuff. Pickle Jar. Brenos and Slake make their way to the Mountain Root Temple, meeting up with Barnabus, Sunny, Cog, Eamon, and Val. Sunny makes contact with an entity that is tending the astral portal. Sunny asks Barnabus about a name that he was called. The party encounters an old albino troll named Malachi, who is trying to open a warded stone door that turns out to be a book. Instead of solving riddles, Brenos tries to force the door open, and succeeds. The githzerai Zerth return to the Mountain Root Temple with powerful scrolls. Brenos, Cog, and Sunny take a short trip through the portal, visiting the astral plane, and arrive atop the body of a dead dwarven deity, the son of Moradin. Where was I? Brenos seeks to learn the name of the deity. Thogrim is divinely inspired to craft a golden bullet, and later speaks to Barnabus about ancient deities. Quintessa makes a proposal to the assembled Steel Rose Expeditionary League. While the party is gathered, Widget leads an interrogation of the captured Ghoulhead. While order is being restored in Overlook, the Steel Rose Expeditionary League makes plans to attack the doppelgangers at the Smoking Tower in the village of Talar. Given that we don't have the full crew here for that attack, and that attack's probably better for a Saturday game, there's no time pressure to go and attack the enemies. When Sunny scries upon them, they seem to be, like, regrouping there, and any of the enemies that have already fled or are in hiding, you suspect a lot of them might be there. Hey, Fox, how's it going? We are looking at the downtime sheet, and this is the week after the attacks on the Stone Anvil Cathedral, Mountain Root, Care Overlook, and the explosion at Bordrin's Watch.
Which means the trial is very close. Jeez.
Yes, it means the trial is very close. So we got through some of the things this week. Slake was crafting javelins. Cog has crafted his legs. You can add those to your sheet now, Ahmed. Thogrim, you've finished retraining your craft feat. So I know you were changing up your feats. The Simulacra are working on widgets items. I still think there are some work on widgets items, so we can't add those to a sheet yet. Sorry, Adam. Sunny was spending some time he sent a bluff to the doppelgangers.
Sunny. Oh, yeah, that's right.
What was the bluff again? It was to set up a.
He wanted to set up an ambush.
I think it was a meeting, and then he would do a magus what's it called?
Magus dictum.
Magus dictum, and he'll say something, and then like whoever reacts in a certain
Oh, that's
way.
right. So he's going out into the large crowds while there is 10 days of mourning, state funerals that Quintessa has been helping out with. And the Inquisition is there. His way to support the Inquisition was that he was using Mage's Decree to psych out any of the doppelgangers, effectively. Yeah. Okay, so we're going to say that is going on during the state funerals, giving some of the Inquisitors something to do. Brennis is also supporting the Inquisition this week. We have Eamon starting some face punch training. Is that correct, Mark?
Yeah.
Okay, so he's doing some training. And then we've got the Darbians, and we missed that encounter where the Darbians have indeed showed up, or they have been in Overlook for some time, but it's time for... they basically search out Barnabus to have a conversation. Quintessa, you are helping out with the state funerals, if that's okay.
That's absolutely fine.
Given that you are effectively a priestess of a goddess of death, and a minor noble in Elsier Vale, and part of the group that helped help save basically Overlook from being overrun by Githyanki. Amadeus in his prison cell is doing face punch training. And
bashing his head into the wall or something.
Yep, and this is the second week of the portal being locked.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's back up to Barnabas meeting with the Darbians. What's the name of the? I don't want to call it it's not quite a hotel. What is the name of the boarding house that the Darbians have taken over? This would be a nicer place in Overlook, close to the courthouse.
The Gilded Lily.
Okay. Gilded as in gilding on like a wall, or
yes,
it's not punny like gild.
No,
Okay.
It's not
Gilded Liddy, and we're gonna call it a boarding house. All right, I'm on the Overlook map, so we've got the Gilded Lily boarding house, and right across the street from the Imperial Courthouse. It's where lawyers and people involved in legal cases would stay. It's not the cheapest place, and your Darbians do number 20. Barnabas might be not looking forward to the bill afterwards.
No. They're lawyers. They can afford their own rooms. If you want to learn from the master, pay the price.
Okay, there's some grumbling at that, but...
Who grumbled? Because Barnabas throws a bottle at them.
Oh, he's that sort of leader.
I really should have retrained to vile leadership, because apparently you get points for behaving that way.
All right, well, first... so a page finds you and says, Master Darby, your friends have all taken up residence at the Gilded Lily. And they pass you a note, and the note is from Scholar Glenn, saying that we have a number of items to discuss.
All right, give the boy a silver piece and fuck off.
Okay, he doesn't seem to mind that you paid him. he runs off. Eamon there, I guess, is with you because he was with this for the conversation.
Yeah.
The note also says, we have an esteemed guest.
Oh, an esteemed guest. Well, let's go meet our esteemed guest.
Steamy gust.
All right, you go to the Gilded Lily. All the Darbians are there. It does look like they have a lot of their luggage here too, because they've picked up. You know that they've picked up their possessions and traveled from Foundry to Overlook, and some of them are guessing it will be a prolonged stay. So all their luggage is kind of piled up into a corner, and there's this hustle and bustle of a bunch of bardish lawyery types. You can see that they've taken over the main tap room and eating hall, and they've got a bunch of books and legal documents out. Finally, you see Scholar Glenn, who's a tall, not quite as charismatic man as Barnabus, but you know he's just as shrewd, and you've trusted him to be the second on many of the papers that you've produced. In fact, he's your workhorse. He's like your editor and the man you bounce ideas off of. A trusted scholar that you may not want to throw bottles at.
He's learned to duck. Throws up and to the right, so you gotta go.
Barnabus. He says as he comes over. He
Hello.
he offers you a hand, and there's a good long shake. He actually gives you kind of like a half hug.
Yeah.
Eamon, is it? Eamon just nods. Oh yes. He's looking over at Eamon. He in sort of like awe and maybe a tinge of fear.
Yeah, if I was just a scholar dude, I'd be afraid of Eamon.
Yeah, Eamon's very distracting. The entire place is slowly, as like a wave of silence has come over the place. There's this last two guys that are obviously drunk or something like that, and they're still talking over it. And then finally, like, there's a bump to one of them, and they look over, and you can see this expectancy from all of your followers. Your followers have grown in number since the last time you've seen them. You are seeing people here that might even outrank you in the realms of academia. You could see some minor nobility. They're all dressed in like their best clothes, probably fit for a trial. You can see law books on the table. They're working. You know from correspondence from Scholar Glenn that they've been working hard on Amadeus's case, so that you can go about and do the things that are more important.
Yes. Well, I'd like to thank everyone for coming and assisting me in this most important of cases. Your work is appreciated, and we're going to help a relatively innocent man not die. A hero not die. So, thank you again. Put on a fucking bag or something. Look at that. You're distracting everyone.
I'll step outside. Eamon steps outside. Before he leaves, like he's kind of like on his way. He whispers to Barnabas, "You trust these people?"
Yeah, I'll be fine. He's eyeballing anyone.
Yeah, they. It is to all of our. It is good to be in the presence of a man of superior intellect. Yeah, they all grab a drink and they all cheers. A bunch of them are coming up to you and shaking your hand.
No, he shakes hands.
Yep.
Looking forward boost that comes from "You're the greatest."
Looking forward to working on this case with you, Barnabas. Yes, and your PhD thesis. We're all looking forward to a few lectures before you leave. And there's a bunch of scholarly chatter.
That could be arranged. Actually, Barnabas probably does want to do that. So.
Yeah, right. Yeah, you like after Amadeus' trial, you're like, hey, they could do the hard work for the PhD.
No, he's gonna do his own. They can help, but yeah.
Yeah, yeah. They can do the heavy lifting and the collating and the bibliography and
Yeah, exactly. The footnotes.
running to get copies, and yeah, they can do all that stuff. Oh, we do have a guest. He came with us from Foundry. He actually found us in his search for you.
All right, and who might this guest be?
His name is Father Asher Clydewell.
Does that name ring a bell? Knowledge, religion?
Yeah. Yeah, give me a knowledge religion.
All right, I will take 10. That gives me a 62.
Yes, he's not only part of the Imperial Church, but he's a scholar and professor in the University of Arcane Academia.
Okay. Just give me a
He's
second. My door just opened for no reason. I just gotta close it because it's winter.
God damn ghosts.
pets.
If I believed in ghosts, that would have been one of those things, because that door's been closed for 4 hours and it just suddenly opens. It's like, what the fuck?
Your furnace pets.
Whatever.
He's rumored, so he's a scholar and a professor. He's also rumored to be a member of secret organizations, and he might have some affiliations with the Grand Lodge of the Arcane Union.
Ooh.
Okay, and now you're asking, what is that? It's
Like
just
the
more
Illuminati of wizards, because I want to join.
No, there are parts of Volcanica that are less under Imperial control and more under the control of the Church of Asmodeus. The Grand Lodge of the Arcane Union would be wizards that follow Asmodean law. It's like an order of wizards that rule over parts of Volcanica. Far from the Imperial lands, more so in the lands of the kobolds, like way on the other side of the continent.
Yeah.
There are entire countries where there are, or like vast lands where wizards rule, or the Church of Asmodeus rules. The Grand Lodge of Arcane Union would be also a place where if you became... It would be one way to escape Imperial justice as a wizard, by going and living amongst the Asmodeans and submitting to their laws. That it's a thing. Now, Volcanica is a planet, and we haven't talked about this before because, I have had lots of conversations where I haven't mentioned, like Thailand or Qatar, or it's just something that's on the other side of the world. Not collectively think of, if you were on the Forgotten Realms, the equivalent might be
Like Fae or...
the Red Wizards of Thay, like an organization that spans beyond its borders and that may have influence beyond its borders.
Okay. That's pretty cool. No.
He might be a Union contact.
Really? I trust his comforts have been seen too.
Oh, yes. He's waiting over here in the sitting room.
All right. Is there a drawing room or something we could have some privacy?
Yes. Scholar Glenn brings you over to a room. I'm just going to move your tokens.
Yeah.
Eamon hears that there's a guest and just comes in to make sure that everything's copacetic.
Mm-hmm.
There is a man sitting in an overstuffed chair. He's even taller than Scholar Glenn. He has this steely look to him. He's very trim. His priestly outfit is missing some of the symbology of the five-faced god. It's kind of like a mixture of like scholar robes and that of a priest's outfit. He's sitting quietly. It does not look like he's smoking or drinking. That is definitely Father Asher Clydewell. We're talking... He's at least legendary in his circles of knowledge.
Okay. Father Clydewell.
He stands up politely.
Barnabus takes off his hat, shakes his hand.
Yep. His grasp is a steely grip, and he's like one of these shakers that talks for a long time while shaking. It's a pleasure.
Barnabus tries to hide his irritation.
Yeah, it's one of the like the power moves, right? Where you gotta. It's a pleasure to finally meet you. I must admit you're a difficult man to track down.
I do move around quite a bit. I have to say it's an honor to meet you. I've read a number of your papers. Yours are the ones to go to on theology, in my opinion.
There are some priests and colleagues of mine that would not agree. Yes, I do skirt the lines of what might be considered doctrine. But in a way, like he's no longer shaking your hand at this point. Yeah. In a way, I believe the two of us have something in common. We do seek the truth. He absent-mindedly, like one of his thumbs touches a ring that is on his left hand. Unfortunately, the ring is under a glove. You can't quite see what it is. But when he said truth, his thumb kind of like touched a little bulge underneath. Only one of his hands is gloved for some reason. It's kind of like a very thin gray glove. Perhaps he is hiding his rings.
Okay. Oh, can I offer you another drink? Perhaps some food? Where's he from?
Father Asher is from... You know about his work, and you rolled a 60.
62.
Yeah, you think he was born in the capital city on Volcanica, Kinderholm.
Okay. What I meant was like, where does he live? Like, where did he travel from?
Glenn said he traveled from Foundry with them to here.
So tell me, I am somewhat curious. How does a man like yourself from Empirica find themselves in Foundry on Volcanica?
Oh, I'm not from Empirica. A beautiful city. A little too concerned with its own busyness.
Oh, my mistake. Yes, you're probably right about that.
I'm from Kinderholm.
Of course. Glenn, would you mind? I could use a whiskey with water.
Oh, sure.
Can I offer you a cigar?
Please.
Cigars all around. Except for Raymond, get away from me.
All right. Glenn stops out for a moment, and he glances at the tiefling. Do I see the markings of an Avernodon?
Yes, you do.
An impressive bodyguard.
Yeah, he does the job.
He smiles at that. He might have been guessing that it was your bodyguard, but he might have suspected it was, and he was trying to confirm something that he's suggested.
So,
I wanted to know if you were enjoying your bookstore.
Well, I'll be honest. If you had something to do with that,
Indeed, I did.
Thank you, very generous. However, I've been unable to enjoy it. Enemies know where it is on now. Terrible time for a turncoat.
It is in my opinion that those that skirt the edges of doctrine, those that seek the truth, sometimes best ingratiate themselves to the people around them by being a good member of the community.
Well, you know what? As a matter of fact, I agree with you. Still, there's other
Besides,
people who need to be fucking told.
The former owner and proprietor of that bookstore, let's just say that he lost his self-worth.
It happens.
Unfortunately, it does. Delusions of grandeur.
Really? From a bookstore owner?
I hardly need to lecture you on the value of knowledge.
No, you do not.
Besides, I found bookstores are much like a fisherman's traps. The less learned sometimes dig up great catches that find their ways into your nets.
This is true.
That bookstore has yielded no less than 3 priceless volumes in its time.
We'll make note of that. Well, seems like I've got a lucky bookstore.
I would simply ask that you share in such knowledge when you do find such things. Besides, it might very well give you a nice bit of cover as you're trying to uncover the truth and work on your own projects.
Well, there's very few people who know what I'm working on at any given time. Except for Raven, but doesn't understand a fucking thing, so I'm not worried about it.
Oh, I'm sure Eamon understands a few things.
Only what I've taught him, and haven't taught him enough.
He's from the pit. He understands a lot more than you think.
Gives Eamon a dirty look.
Okay. I did not come here to cause discord. I came here with an offer.
Well, offer away.
I hear that you consider yourself somewhat of a linguist, and that you have found strange ways to apply mastery of languages to many different professions.
I have, yes.
Then I have a puzzle for you. Something that has stymied even some of the best scholars on Volcanica for some time.
Very well.
It may
intrigued me.
It may seem silly. He actually has a book on him. It's a small, workbook. If you can solve these 3 linguistic puzzles, then we would be considered your first part of an initiation to an ancient order would be complete.
Let's have a look-see.
Okay. He does say there is relevance to testing you in this manner. These 3 puzzles have been solved. Sometimes only the first 2 by those who are learned. The 3rd one is a doozy.
Well, let's go right for number 3 then, shall we?
He shrugs. I didn't expect you to. He sits down with Glenn comes back with whiskeys and cigars. He will sit down and have a whiskey and a cigar. If you want to do the puzzles now, he's surprised that you would even attempt to do these complicated things right the second. He doesn't quite realize how fucking smart Barnabus is. It's a little book, and there's I didn't create any puzzles for this because this is representing what is Barnabas's intelligence? It's
his intelligence right now.
Yes.
When he's done training, it'll be right now. It's 34. It'll be 36 next levels in a few weeks.
okay. 34. Do they still have that chart where it's you're as smart as a ghoul? Or
I don't know. I don't think they have.
yeah, they do. They do. They do.
Oh, they do. Okay.
Okay, so just to give you an idea, the intelligence chart under ability scores stops describing at 33. The description is unfathomable intellect, equivalent to that of a great worm gold dragon. And that's a +11 modifier.
I'm smarter than that guy.
You're off that chart, basically.
Yeah.
He doesn't know. He's heard. It's like, oh yeah, this guy is smart. It's meant to be a workbook. You realize it's like puzzle, a bunch of pages where you write down your solution. Puzzle pages you write down your solution, and the third one is. So you just start at the first one. Or you
start at. You know what? I don't want to seem like a cheat. I didn't do them all, so do them all. So he tries to have a conversation as he's doing the puzzle. So you can apply a penalty or
there's a typical distraction penalty on perception checks, so you could be distracted with your conversation at a -4.
Okay, he'll take the -4. What's the knowledge check?
All right, so the first one is like just to get you started. It's a linguistics puzzle, like it's languages and like patterns and maybe like early cryptography, the type of stuff you could actually do with like by hand, like some sort of cipher. This first one actually is sort of like a mathematical linguistic puzzle. It's just basically linguistics. It's like substituting letters from a different language into another one.
Okay. DC.
The DC on this is 20.
Okay, he automatically gets that.
Okay. The next one is a DC.
What's the penalty to do it quickly? Because he gets, without rolling and while distracted, a 48.
The penalty for doing something like in an amazing amount of time is 20.
So he'll take the penalty for doing it an amazing amount of time.
Okay.
And he still automatically makes it.
All right, so you start your conversation. You're like, is it this?
Yeah.
Impressive. All right. The next one is a bit of a different puzzle. It's more of a translation, a series of translations where they're asking you to write out what this actually means, and you realize that they've picked some words in a more obscure language. Let's say it's infernal.
Okay, well, he speaks that.
That they're asking for the most accurate meaning in Imperial Common, and then they're asking what language would actually have more precise, much more precise meaning to it, and then does that language then translate better into common? So this is less of a did you get the right answer? It's more of how high can you get the roll.
Okay.
And Wither has given you a fortune point for +2 on this.
Awesome. Plus 4 with the fortune point, and I'm going to spend a inspiration point. And 69, chuckle.
Okay. All right, Barnabas has a choice here. You realize that the concepts that they're asking about in the language of law and evil, are you translating to evil as your secondary language and thus concentrating on the evilness? Or are you translating it to law as the second language and thus emphasizing the law?
For the translation, he will focus on the law.
Okay. With a 69, you realize that you could probably do both and try to arrive at a answer in the middle that would capture the pure essence of law and evil.
That's exactly what he's going to do.
Okay. This takes you a little bit more time, and you're not actually
chit-chatting.
You're not actually chit-chatting during this. So, Scholar Glenn ends up talking with Asher a little bit, and Barnabas is working on this puzzle. This one normally takes people weeks in a library. Oh, Barnabas's head is like a library. You hear Scholar Glenn. Although he does absorb books quite well. I do believe that it is called an eideictic memory, where you tell Barnabas something and he remembers it. Or at least if he reads it. At least he pretends that way. I see. He's watching you work. He takes a little pocket watch and he looks at it. I don't mean to be rude, Professor Darby, but I've seen great men spend weeks toiling on the second question.
No. The key is, you'll see when I'm finished.
Okay.
And when he's done, he's like, all right, what do you think of this?
He takes the book. He looks at it.
He shows his work.
Very logical and very inspired. I see that you went to Hidean to translate the evil words, and that you went to... I'm guessing this is some sort of pigeon for Modron.
Yeah, otherwise it's a bunch of ones and zeros. It's really weird.
Logic. And evil. And he actually takes out a pen. Like he realized that it was all his timepiece was also a stopwatch, and he makes a little note in the margins about how long it took you.
No, the last one. Can I get another whiskey?
The last one you likely will not be able to do here.
Do I need special reference material?
Unless you're going to make something up.
Let's see what I can do. Maybe you're right. You probably are.
The last one is a script you've never seen.
Okay.
Give me a linguistics roll just to assess the puzzle.
All right. Just to assess it, I am going to spend a mythic point. 73, because I rolled a 1.
Oh, give me a second. Ban. Meaningless name 3 UK. Go away. All right. It's a really weird language. And it's very old.
Okay, can I make heads or tails out of it?
The problem with even cheating with this language, like by doing a read language, is that it's more pictures than it is language.
Okay. Oh, I can add a d6 to that. Thank you. So 76. I'm sorry, 78 would have been the number. I'm guessing that
78. It's like an impossibly high roll. So Barnabus knows what this is.
Okay.
This is a very ancient kingdom's, like we're talking about a this is the bureaucratic script from a a planar place called the City of Brass, whereby it's a way of... The language doesn't have enough like words in it to actually do poetry. It's like used for tallying accounts and the movement of goods and writing like events and dates. Like it doesn't have enough lexicon to like...
Sounds like accountant language.
Yeah, and to provide any sort of prose. Some of the symbols are actually names, and that's what would trip somebody up. Like they're actually proper names that you would would have to go and like learn how to read. What elemental languages do you speak?
He speaks. Hang on. Barnabus speaks Ignan. He speaks Hadean. I've got to pick one more still. Nope, that's it for the...
Okay, so Barnabas knows that some of the names in here would be Jinn.
Okay.
And some of the names in here would be written in Ifrit. And then the tallies and some of the symbols, you'll have to just figure out, like, does it mean, like, oxen? Or does it mean, like, cartloads? Or it would take some work, and you need just a proper library to finish this project.
All right.
You could translate some of the names right now, but it's like, I need to...
I admit I do not know the language of the accountants of the City of Brass. So
he hit an eyebrow raises.
So I will take a day to do this. It's a nice library.
Most scholars would... I've seen them beat their heads upon stones, trying to figure out at least where to start looking.
Well, like I said, I like languages.
Barnabas, this shows you that there is likely a Jinn language that, like, Ifrit and Jinn and Shaitans and, like, all the Jinn would speak, aside from Ignan.
All right, that sounds good to me.
You've just never seen that script before, or you've never bothered to learn it. Plus, there's, like, tallies, like little marks meaning numbers, and there's a symbol, and you're like, I need to figure out the context, and this is a thing that you could probably do in a day.
All right, I'll do it. I will get working on it. Come by tomorrow, same time.
Tomorrow?
Oh, I care. Tomorrow.
Here I thought I would be able to witness the Inquisition for at least a couple of weeks.
No one's saying you have to leave. I could introduce you to the High Inquisitor.
That is all right. We have already met. I would watch out for his number 2.
Do I know who is? I don't think we've met his number 2.
No.
Noted.
He is a difficult man.
Yeah, I work with a few difficult ones myself. Maybe not as difficult as his, but...
I look forward to delivering this manual back to some of my brothers. He's giving you a hint when he said brothers.
Mm-hmm. Barnabas is going to play coy. Oh, okay. I have no idea what you're speaking of.
Okay. Scholar Glenn, it was a pleasure. Oh, pleasure's all mine. Asher. Apparently they're on first name basis. They've been traveling for a while.
Yep.
Mr. Woe. A pleasure being in the presence of an Avernodon. And Professor Darby. I look forward to Well, seeing the fruits of your labors.
Till tomorrow.
Gentlemen, he says to the two of them, protect this man. He is a genius.
Oh, got another convert.
All right, your benefactor, I guess, Asher Clydewell, leaves. Oh, at this point, this was interrupted by, I think, Thogrim.
Thogrim
came in, and
at which point there was a conversation about Vulcan. It's like, close the door.
Yeah. So that conversation happened. What was the conversation about again? Sorry.
Oh, he wanted to know about Vulcan.
Yeah, that's
who
right.
Vulcan was.
Yep. Yeah,
And
Barnabus
like,
being bombarded by weirdness.
Yeah. Okay.
That is a serious man, says Scholar Glenn to Barnabas.
Yeah, I'm familiar with his reputation.
After we have some things for you to review for Amadeus' trial.
Oh, yeah, let's get over that.
Do you have all of your signatures? Your
I will, but I don't really need them, now do I?
it might be better. We don't want the opposing arbiter to start questioning your station.
Well, he can question it all he likes. He's going to be made a fool of.
Yes, of course.
All right, then.
So they go over some of this, like, preparatory work, and part of it, are you just going to go and wing it? Or, like, what?
No.
What prep is Barnabas doing for Amadeus?
Barnabas is reviewing, like, who are the witnesses. Now, I have a question.
Yep.
Because, like, for trials, is it like the movies where people can just say random shit and the lawyers are like, I had no idea that was going to come out of their mouth? Or is it like real life tends to be they're deposed and they kind of have an idea what they're going to say in the first place? So, and like the opposing side knows whether they're going to object or not. I mean, it's D&D. We tend to do things theatrically anyway. So.
Yeah, but there are things where spells can ascertain truths.
That's true as well, yeah.
And you know that part of being an arbiter is that there are harsher laws for trying to, like, lie.
Yeah, I'm not talking about lying. I'm just asking is, like, do I already know what the testimony's kind of going to be, or do I have to?
Yeah, so Amadeus... Refresh my memory. He confessed to the deaths of whom?
He confessed to the deaths of his friend.
Yes.
And like just
back in Foundry?
Random people like during the riots. Yeah.
Oh, I see. Okay.
He basically threw a bunch of people into a pit and killed them for no other reason than because I can, because it's a riot, because I'm evil.
Yeah, and then the death of his friend. Now, did his friend have any familial connections? Like, was he...
Oh, like, was he wealthy?
Yeah.
Yeah, he probably was, because he was Amadeus' friend from before he got transformed.
Yeah,
Amadeus was a rich kid.
They've done some digging, and they say Scholar Glenn says, the family of the of one of the victims is here, and they're pressing for justice. There is a concern that the best outcome will be Amadeus serves time in either a work camp, and because many people in that district at that time were declared, that district basically was declared guilty, and the punishment of the district was people getting scooped up and either placed into work camps or into pressed into military service in the Imperial Foreign Legion. Now, the Imperial Foreign Legion, given his predilection towards violence, and that he is a known warrior, is the most likely and probably best outcome that Amadeus can expect.
Okay.
No fine.
No fine,
no fine, no time. A 5-year sentence in the Imperial Foreign Legion, and placed in some sort of specialized duty.
Yeah. So that's what we're shooting for.
That's the best outcome. The worst outcome is he's tried as a murderer and executed.
Whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's avoid that.
Okay. Barnabas, you've been chatting with Chagga via sending spells as of late.
Mm-hmm.
And you do know that Chagga is part of some special military unit that has a loose rein, that they've been able to run around like adventurers and still be considered part of the military.
Okay. I guess you could shoot him ascending and ask if he wants someone who can wrestle dragons.
Okay, let's get Chagga. Let's get Chagga's Punam on here. The first image came up was Chagga's bed. All right, so you're gonna.
You mean Barnabas's bed that you stole?
So you're gonna send Chagga ascending.
Yeah.
What's the gist?
Have you any room for a man who can, or for not a man, he's not gonna, for a thing that can wrestle dragons, but is a bit wishy-washy when it comes to morality?
Oh, hi Barnabas. We're about to set foot into a horrible abyssal plain full of fungus in the next day or two. I don't think I'll be able to navigate any... This is back and forth over several sendings. I don't think I'll be able to navigate any bureaucratic nonsense with the army, but definitely after we get out of the fungal region. Who exactly are we talking about?
He's a friend of some of your crew, Amadeus. He's some kind of wrestler.
The Hunchback of Foundry?
That's him. So he's had a bit of an attitude adjustment. Went and confessed to murder.
Yeah.
I have to get him off the noose first, but...
Well, at war, they don't call killing murder. They call it being a good soldier.
Well, you should be up for a number of medals then.
Yes. Chagga ends up telling you that send the requisition to General Albrin de Gren of the Steel Rose Squad, Imperial Foreign Legion, Imperium, of the 11th Imperial Foreign Legion of Volcanica, Legion of the Stag.
All right.
You also learn that Chagga... Oh, I'm a Baron now.
Fuck off.
Baron of Dunehold in the village of Dun.
Since when?
Oh, and the goblins are also calling me Chagga Kong.
Why?
That's a dangerous thing to be called.
Yeah.
Kong,
which is why
Kong
Barnabas...
means king in giant.
Yeah. Barnabas speaks giant, which is why he's asking why.
Oh, because of how big my nose is. Anyways, we should only be gone for, if all things go well, like 5 days. Perhaps you could do this in about 10 days' time?
Oh, yeah, our trial's next week, so sure.
Chances are we will experience some losses. Perhaps a friendly face as distorted as Amadeus's will be a morale boost to some of the gang members from Foundry.
Well, I hope so.
Yeah.
Be careful.
Always.
I also wouldn't mind speaking with your doppelganger.
My what? Chagga let the whole sending go with that one. We have to find a much more. We must find a much more efficient way of communicating. Ta-ta!
No breaking now.
Yeah, maybe after Chagga goes and does the thing. So this week before Amadeus's trial, the week of Amadeus's trial is when they entered the fungus, when they did the last adventure. After that next week, the two groups will be completely caught up in time, at least.
Yeah.
Okay, so the idea has been planted in Chagga's head that if all things go well with Barnabas defending Amadeus in court, that Amadeus might join the Wayfinders in the Steel Rose Squad of the 11th Foreign Legion.
Okay.
And not escape the judgment that was cast upon the rioters and looters and ne'er-do-wells of the South Wall district. Wow, I had to pull that one out. All right, Chagga's not here. We'll just delete that. Yes, Ahmed, he will eventually talk about Desaad. He just wanted to play dumb at least for a little bit.
My what?
This spell might be tapped. All right, I think with that, unless there's anything else this week, I think this week is done with.
Okay.
Now does
Barnabas get to finish that thing though?
Which thing?
The third puzzle.
Oh yes, yes, yeah. The third puzzle. So Barnabas rents some time in the what was it called? The Oakhart Library. They do charge. They do charge you about 300 gold pieces for a day to go there. Are you taking your Darbians to help you?
Yes, I'll take my Darbians to help me. No, that's cheating.
Okay.
That's obviously cheating, at least to my followers. He will let his imp help him, though.
That's fine.
Okay. 2 plus 4 from the aid, plus... We'll do another mythic point. So, at the end of it... Fucking shitty roll. He gets a 79. Oh, plus 1d6. So 84.
Okay. The significance of this passage is not lost on Barnabas, because Barnabas also has knowledge planes.
Yeah.
For some reason, they've come across a tablet, they being the people that made this quiz. For some reason, they have come across a tablet that is older than that of the Imperium.
Okay.
It's actually from the first city on the plains.
Which city of Brass? Or?
The city of Brass, its claim to fame is that it was one of the first megalopolises on the plains.
Okay.
There's also a fortune point incoming for a 86.
Yeah, 86.
This was from one of the first kings of the first city of the plains, the city of Brass, in the Plain of Fire, written about the shipment of the first humanoids that became slaves in that city.
Okay. Yeah, if I was forced to guess, my first guess would have been it was the selling of souls, but yeah, pretty damn close.
It's like the first people taken from the prime material to here. You're wondering how these people even got this?
The fact that they did is very interesting, though.
And there's something bugging you about one of the symbols you've seen before. Give me a knowledge arcana.
Okay. I am going to take 20 on the. I'm gonna do my 20 or my roll/reroll and take 20.
Okay.
And spend a mythic.
To do a display of intelligence. Yeah.
Yeah, for a display of intelligence. So, crap, it's 62.
Yeah. Oh, and you got all the names. You did all the translations. You're pretty sure you know, like
Hang on, 62,
you've been able to
82,
translate the document.
102, 100 and hang on a second. It's total is 102.
102.
Hang on, I'm not done. Plus 106, 100 and
Your math is stupid.
106. Shut up. 118.
I'm rolling a 32.
119.
Ah, fuck.
I'm so smart, I bleed from my eyes.
You've seen this before, and you've even thought about this thing in recent days, which is why it was so familiar. And now you're beginning to suspect you know how people on Volcanica have had access to something that clearly came from the City of Brass in the Plane of Fire. And that's because one of the sigils for the Sultan of the City of Brass, who has historically been the tyrannical ruler of this very, very, very secure, massive city, is prominently at the top. And you know that when Sonny was going on about the doppelgangers hiding at the Smoking Tower, that there is a brass obelisk that is near the Smoking Tower, which is actually the source of the smoke. And the symbol at the top of the brass monolith is of the sigil of the Sultan of the City of Brass.
Okay.
Now your mind is racing about connections to...
Why are they coming now? And
how did they get it? Is
Yes.
basically... How did they get this passage?
yeah, I have questions. I will speak to him in the morrow, I guess, when he comes to pick up the.
Yeah, you spend your 300 gold pieces well spent to rent out a little room in the Oakhart Library.
Sorry, I should have asked. Do I get a bonus from the library?
Yeah, the library would for linguistics and things like this probably gives you a +4.
Okay, so that would have been 123.
All right.
I don't expect it to make a difference.
No, it does.
Oh.
And I'm going to tell you why. If we look at the perform skill, when one gets a 25 on their perform check, it's a memorable experience. In a prosperous city, you can earn money. In time, you will come to the attention of noble patrons and develop a national reputation. With a 30, it's an extraordinary performance. You could earn 3d6 gold pieces per day, and in time, you may draw the attention from distant patrons or even from extraplanar beings. You have tripled that amount with one of your checks.
Yeah, okay. All right, gods of knowledge, line up and start fighting for me. Or gods of magic, whatever.
Barnabus, not realizing that maybe he realizing he's a genius.
He knows he's smart.
Even you not showing your steps, it's like, but how did he get that?
Yeah.
How did he know? You get the sense that you're being followed. Polly tells you that there's another imp that's been tracking us. Respectful distance, though. Respectful distance.
He casts see invisibility.
Okay. This imp has a big crown of like horns on its head. It looks like older and maybe a bit stronger than your imp. It's just watching you.
In Infernal, can we offer you something? Please sit if you wish to observe my work.
This is as you were leaving.
Oh, this was as
Yeah.
I was leaving? Okay.
Yeah.
He just nods at the imp and
Okay.
walks
The imp seems to fly ahead of you, and then you get back to the Gilded Lily. All of your there's a bunch of activity as they're getting the last few things together. Asher Clydewell is there before you. It looks like he had just arrived. He was sipping on a tin cup of coffee. Scholar Glenn is there. Oh, he arrived shortly before you did.
well, he seems to have that habit.
He is very punctual, yes.
Well, see if he wants anything. We'll be in the drawing room.
Okay. Yeah, you go into the room. Asher Clydewell is there.
Where did you lads get a plate from the City of Brass? From no less than what was his name? What was his title again?
The Grand Sultan of the City of Brass is
the Grand Sultan of the City of Brass.
You'll find that Volcanica has many portals to many places.
Oh, I know. Found a few.
Let's just say that city had dealings with ancient entities that once roamed this world.
It also mentions the first trafficking of humanoids. Fascinating. Oh, here's my work. And everything I know about what this is.
He holds on to it like it's a precious thing, and he doesn't even open to look at it. You are done.
Yeah, it's complete.
Okay. He grabs like a doctor's bag, but he's like, it's got different implements. He does take out what looks like a little belt that he cinches over it. He ties it up. The belt looks like it's maybe out of like dragon hide, and then he puts a wax seal over the belt.
Okay.
He does cast a spell, which seems like it might be a variant of an arcane mark that would do the wax seal. Like he puts.
If you have any more treasures for me to study, drop them by any time.
There will be plenty of things for you to study, as well as particular lines of research, should you accept the offer that will no doubt, he pats the book as he's talking, that will no doubt be coming from the Brotherhood of the Ninth. Give me a second, make sure I get this right. From the Brotherhood of the Ninth Sign.
Brotherhood of the Knights. All right, then.
You heard me right, the Ninth Sign?
Yep.
Yep.
I'm just writing it down.
Okay. Scholar Glenn.
Looking forward. Yeah.
Not the eighth one.
Go ahead.
No. Scholar Glenn's like jaw is open, like kind of like on the floor when he overheard say that. I assume that you can be discreet.
Yeah. You have no idea the secrets I keep.
The Brotherhood has for some time been waiting.
It's kind of a hobby of mine.
For someone who can very quickly get at the truth of things.
I'm sure it'll be mutually beneficial. Now, I don't mean to be rude, and please make yourself at home, but I have a trial to prepare for. I'm going to become a lawyer next week.
Yes, if you don't mind, I would like to watch. They do allow visitors, I believe, in Imperial
yes, they do.
courtrooms. Please take no further heed of me. After I watch the trial, I will return to some of my friends to review your work. He's already packed your book into his bag and closed it up. You're pretty sure the bag's like a extra-dimensional space.
Okay. Awesome. Well, it was wonderful to meet you.
Give me a sense motive, Barnabas.
Yeah, you can't lie to me. Why am I rolling like crap? 57.
How
Good
is
for you.
how is crap 57? Okay.
'Cause I rolled a 5. That's why.
He's looking at you like you're some sort of like savior.
I am. Once I get rid of that damn dragon. Maybe, who knows?
like when you said earlier, like one of the converted. Yes, this man thinks you're something special.
Well, if you
Had you not solved the 3 things in that time, he probably wouldn't have cared about what you were doing in the court case. But if this is important to you, it's like he wants to see.
Okay. Cool. All right.
It's like being buddies with Uker from the other campaign and being really impressed by big objects being moved around.
Yes.
And then hearing that Uker's going to a lifting contest.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, I'll stick around for that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
I think that's his week.
Yeah, the next week. Oh, look at that. Agony, you don't know what he's doing.
God damn it,
Slake,
Megan.
he's crafting javelins
Shit.
out of scissor wood, making those dispelling. Basically, they're going to act like dispel magics when he hits you with the javelin.
These are cool.
Cog is studying the Starfield viewer.
Right. Cog is asking for someone to teleport him back to the temple of where he can study the Starfield viewer from the aspect of intelligence.
Quintessa can probably like take 2 seconds out of a day between funerals to teleport you there, as long as you're willing to stay there for the week, because she's not going back and forth.
He doesn't eat, he doesn't sleep, he's good.
And is Cog staying at the temple by himself?
I prefer if somebody came with him, but Cog is pretty damn competent.
Okay.
He's going to actually store the aspect of. He's going to store the aspects in the jars with him. He's going to keep them. But for the time being, he's going to keep the aspect of charisma. Or not? What was it called? The power of presence he's going to keep out, and the power of intelligence he's also going to keep out. Wisdom he's going to keep locked up, and when he's done, he's going to put them all back away. Because he gets a +5/+5 from presence.
All right. Cog and Quintessa, when the two of you teleport to the Graystone Citadel, you've both been there before. I just need to find all your tokens. I think Quintessa was on the Half-Axe Inn map.
Probably.
Yeah, there she is. And Val's been, I don't know, given the danger as of late, he's been extra protecty following his mother around.
Can you just force us when you do your DME thingy?
All right, Cog. When Quintessa, Cog, and Val arrive at the temple, you realize that the githzerai that helped you at the Mountain Root Temple have made their way here.
Oh, excellent.
And Zerth Zalus Exalian is at that temple. Like they didn't disappear afterwards, right?
We got the scrolls, and they just. No, they were supposed to be protecting the portal.
Yeah.
What are you doing here?
No. But you notice that there's a number of them, not their full unit. They've got some they've got some of them that are actually here.
Okay.
Remember, they had said that this temple had been. They didn't have enough githzerai to like man the temple. They knew about it. They may have visited it, but they didn't. They didn't spend time. They no longer garrisoned that particular fortress.
No. Hopefully Barnabus will help me claim it as my own. In the Empire's eyes, Imperium's eyes.
Yeah, I gotta find his token. There he is. Copy, paste,
Pasta.
and I'll bring him to. I'll just go to the conversation.
No, that's not him. Well,
It was the original one, I think.
that was the original one. Yeah.
Okay. Let me see if I can find his more updated token. This was
It's warrior style.
Chapter 4, githzerai. Was it that guy?
There's a lighter color. The whole thing was like,
This guy?
yeah, it was him.
This one?
The guy on the right.
This one. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Master, it's good that you're here. I was returning to study the Starfield gazer, or viewer.
As was I.
I began to learn the katas required to manipulate the map, but I was interrupted, as you know.
You have brought friends.
Yes. Quintessa and Val.
You notice he does glance at Val Soren. Like there's something about Val Soren's armor and his position that unnerves the Zerth.
They are friends. They helped us fight the Githyanki.
He actually contacts you in your head. Are you sure this one has sworn oaths to your undying emperor?
He's already seen the map, right? Val?
Yeah, but Val has maybe he hasn't spent time.
They were here with
They
us.
were here. They were guarding mostly the doorway. He might have wandered into the room while you guys were cleaning up, but he.
Okay. That's a fair point.
For some reason, the githzerai seems to not like the undying emperor.
I do trust him, but perhaps I can speak with Quintessa.
You must forgive me.
No, you're absolutely right.
The Githyanki and their evil have been under the thumb of undead leaders for millennia. Your empire may very well be the same thing in different form.
It's not mine.
You live in their lands.
Oh yes, it is.
Right.
I do what I must to protect the environment I'm in.
Are not your elvish people subjects of the Imperium?
Unfortunately, they fell. I died during the time of fighting them. We'll see what happens. Right now, the biggest threat is the Githyanki. We'll deal with that first.
Nods.
Quintessa, if you will, I'd like to show you something.
Very well.
Specifically to you, not to not to Val.
Very well.
You'd like with his master, shall we?
Okay, but we follows you.
Yeah, you walk through at this weird temple. There's already a couple of githzerai that are guarding the room, and there is a fabulous illusory wall full of stars.
Have you started learning the katas yet, or do you already know them, master?
I know the katas.
If you could show them to me, that would be quite fantastic.
will not be instantaneous. We can spend time learning